Hello, girls.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to our sewing circle.
So, Judy, how does it feel? You're normally here as a student.
Yes, I am.
And today you're going to be the teacher.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that.
Are you a little intimidated by
Very.
your students?
I'm very,
Not
are you
at all.
kidding?
So we've got
I have the best. It's
Angela. Hi, Angela. Angela's taught many virtual classes for
Yes,
us,
and
and Denise
Denise,
has also
yes.
taught virtual classes.
Yes,
But you're going to do something different.
This is totally different. This is something that actually came from a sewing weekend with some friends. And it was several years ago. And I thought this would be a great project to bring and have the Carmel Doll Shop do. So here we are. And I have students, which is I'm happy for. So
And so, what are we going to make?
we are going to make a fichu.
Okay.
Fichus are these. They're like capes. They were used in the late 1700s into the 1800s, and they are a lace wrap, I guess you want to call them, and they are widely used. They started in England, and here they are. I don't know. We need to do some more history. I think you're going to do some more history on it.
Yes, we will have that. So we're going to do it in white.
We're going to do it in white.
Or
This is no, actually white.
Is this white? Okay.
Yeah, the one we're doing is in white. This is an ecru, and then the
Okay,
black
so
one.
they're doing white.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
going to do white.
But I love the black, but we all know that the black is difficult to film.
Very hard. It's hard to see. Yeah.
Hard to see
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
film. But
yeah.
isn't that stunning on the
And it's
doll?
on Denise's dress.
Yes, and I think that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would actually kind of be a wonderful accessory to go with this dress.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so how are you going to start?
We are going to start by cutting out the base, which is just netting, and it's
Okay.
a cotton netting that you can use. This one actually is made on a dotted net type thing, but any lightweight fabric would
But this
work.
is antique.
This is antique.
That was antique material.
Yeah, antique material. This is new, but it's just the cotton netting.
Yeah, and it's fun to work with.
It is fun to
love
work
it.
with, yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
they have the netting, and they're going to just take the pattern, lay the netting over it, and then trace it.
Pattern. And it's
So you're not even going to,
on
you
the
don't have
fold.
to cut out the pattern. You
No, just take up your pen. You have I forget, these are called, Angela knows,
Oh, that's just a chalk
a
pen.
chalk pen.
Chalk pen, okay.
And this one happens to be pink, so she'll outline it.
I don't know. Let's see.
Cut
And
on the
then-
fold.
And then I have a
on the
Frixon
fold.
pen, which
And Angela's using the Frixon, but you could use a pencil for this.
And
Yes.
well, you could, because you're going to hide the edges anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to be covered with the lace, so that's what you do. Yeah. And then we're going to attach the larger of the laces to the outside first, which kind of then anchors the piece. So when you go to work, you have, a sturdier base to then fill in. And the next one will do the neckline. So then the whole area, the outside will be anchored. And then you'll work from the inside, up or down, either or. And then there's additions that go on the top, so.
And we're working right now with the
Just the
prototype pattern. But
prototype pattern,
When they
right.
buy the kit, they
You'll
will get the pretty.
Pretty. This is,
thing.
yeah, this is much.
This is
it'll be-
Mama's work.
This is Mama's work here, yes, yes, so. But you'll get a better idea when you get the prototype, and these will be available in a kit that will be coming in the future.
So they're going to actually have a little bit of tulle left over that they could do something with.
And actually they can. There is a little bit of a flounce on the back that could either
Oh,
be
they
done
could-
with the lace or with the netting if they choose,
Or they
depending
could
upon.
even put it behind the
They could put
lace.
it behind, yeah. These were made very different. You could use, like, this one is made with the ruffled lace here that's been gathered. This one is made with flat. So it's kind of whatever. You found them in all different styles and whatnot. And some were knitted and some were made in fabric and lace. So
If you hear grunting and snoring, that's Annabelle. She loves Angela, so
Yes.
she can't feel.
she has to be right here.
She has to be with her friend Angela, who's her best friend.
Yes.
Angela brings her cookies. There's a delivery coming
that's-
soon.
Yeah, she's
then-
not gonna miss it. She's
Annabelle
going
knows
right
it.
to her feet right now.
She's right here.
She knows it.
There's plenty probably for the Tom Thumb.
Exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
please save it, because there's lots you can do with this netting.
Oh, yeah.
It's very versatile, so don't
you
think
could
that
you
we're
could
throwing
make
it away.
some beautiful caps for
Oh,
Mrs. Tom
stockings
Thumb.
also.
Or
Stockings work
yeah.
really well out of this. So, yeah, please save your little pieces, because there's something you can do with them.
All right, we'll let them
Alright.
cut this back
Mm-hmm.
out, and we will be back.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. So what are we gonna do next, Judy?
Well, after we've ironed it out, which kind of gives you a nice flat base, we're going to take our number 6 package, which is the whiter of the outside lace.
And it's marked number
And
6.
it's marked number 6. And like everybody says, when you take things out, if you're not going to use it, put it back. But you'll notice in the kit you're going to get, everything's going to have numbers, which will then correspond with the diagram that looks way better than this one. So you'll know which and where they go. So it'll be pretty easy. And you'll get thread and all the things that you need. So when you're not using it, please put it back, because they slip and fall on the floor, if nothing else.
And then they call us and say,
And they say they're missing.
and then we
Yes.
say they don't make that anymore.
Yes, so anyway. So we're going to take the whiter lace and we're going to pull a thread. I think Denise is already doing it.
I've pulled the thread
Yes.
at the very top.
Okay.
Let's show me how you do
Yeah,
that.
should-
So, because I think that our members would love to.
Yeah, the way I just have these
You have little-
little tweezers and I pull.
Just
good
find
idea.
a
Kind
thread,
of find it and pull.
and that gives that pretty little.
It
So
gives a
can you-
nice
can
edge,
you,
too. Mm-hmm.
Angela, show us.
Okay. Did I get a piece? I might have to, these are more for holding it. And I don't think I have my other tweezers. Thank you.
And does it matter which thread, Denise, if you found works better than one or the other, just one of the top?
When I get lucky, I take it.
Okay, so, because there'll be several,
Yeah.
there's probably, 5, I think, of the top. The very top one is looped, don't use that one, but ones below are probably great. The middle one would probably be the best one, if you can get
That
it.
could be embroidered on a pillow. If you find the thread, take it.
Yes, there you go.
Pull that aside and then get this one here.
There you go.
Yeah, if you kind of just.
So it makes lovely little gathers, doesn't
It
it?
does, yeah.
And think of the time it saves.
Yeah, if you can get it. See, I'm gonna have to borrow their tweezers to
But I
go
like
for
to
it.
suffer, so I usually just do it by hand.
Well, that's what I'm doing, and you can see how I'm struggling. So, but,
Well, it can be
but
intimidating
determined,
when they're really
because
long.
see, then you get it. So it's just a matter of finding it and hope that it doesn't break. And then you just slowly pull along, and you're just gonna kind of gradually pull it together, and it'll just keep gathering.
So
with any
we
luck at
are
all.
going to gather 42 inches.
40
of-
inches period, just
40
40,
inches
yeah.
of lace
40 inches of
around.
lace, and it'll start and it'll go all the way around to the part that we marked on the pattern, and then you'll stop.
You
And it'll
stop
just,
there.
and then you bury the outside edge into it so it rounds, so you don't have a flat edge hanging out.
Okay.
It'll come back in, so. And just take your time, because you don't want to break the thread.
Because then you have to find a
Then you
Find
gotta
another
find a
one.
new one,
Gotta find a
yes.
new
So
one.
this is
And
very,
there is a right side and a wrong side.
and there
to
is,
the lace.
absolutely, yeah.
I think this is the wrong here.
Yeah, and while you're gathering, it probably doesn't matter, but this is the right side. It's probably the heavier of the embroidery. I don't know if you can see that or not. The other side is much flatter.
And this is one of my favorite
More
laces.
dimensional, yeah.
It's-
This is
And
beautiful
it's one of
lace.
the most expensive too.
Well, there you
Now,
go.
If you're going to do
Only
it,
the
might
best.
as well do it.
Only the best, yes, so this will take some time, so we'll get this gathered together. Denise is much better at it than I am. I think I have to go with another
Well, I
thread.
haven't had to be talking, so.
Oh. And Angela, how you
Well,
doing?
we will do
Okay.
this. We will go back. One thing about these little sewing circles is between these takes, we can complain about a lot of stuff. So we'll be back.
We'll see you in a little bit. We'll have all this done and we'll get our frustrations out.
All right.
A little addendum, we were just talking, when you get gathering on your lace, don't get so involved or forget that you have an end, and if you get there, it's just gonna keep going, and pretty soon you don't have anything left, and now it's straight at this end. So if you want, take and do a little bit of a back stitch, just fold this back and secure the end so you no longer gather away and that way you will make sure you have an anchor. And then you can gather this way, and then you can fit it by using the end that you've gathered as you go around, so it will actually fit. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes, it makes total sense.
Lock the end that you're not using. Angela, can you tell me a little bit better how you say it?
So, you know, another good way is before you start to pull, mark it in half. Pin your middle part. And as you're pulling, once you get to your middle part, then, you know, kind of make sure that you have enough here. And then you can go ahead and sew it and lock it in place in the middle.
In the middle,
You
too.
can
That's a
pinch
good
it.
idea. Yeah,
If
in the
you
middle.
pinch it in the middle, it's going to be secure.
Okay,
And
that's
then
a good thing.
And then you could take this last bit here and then sew it up so that, you know, it's nice and it's not going to.
So then both
be
ends
loose.
will be secured.
And then you can.
That's a great
start
idea. I like that. Okay.
From the end again, and then pull your thread, and then
Okay.
start making your ruffle.
Good idea. Okay, so basically what she was saying, if you didn't quite understand, before you start to gather, find the middle. And so mark your lace in the middle, and then you'll know where to attach it to the middle here. So that way when you can attach it, secure it here, you know that you'll have equal on both sides. So you don't, you're not fiddling trying to make it even. You'll have it secured in the middle, and then you can secure the end that you don't have secured, and then this one, and then you're done, and then you're ready to go. Right?
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Everybody understands?
I hope you understand.
You understand, Denise?
Kind of. I already started. So
Well, and so
I'm
did
a walk
I.
here.
So did I. But I didn't before. But you kind of can visualize it. It isn't so important, but you'll visualize if your gathers are fairly even. You can lay it down and then just kind of move
No, it's
it.
a good idea because this is such a long piece.
It's such a long
not
piece.
It's
little-
Yeah.
40 inches, so
Yes.
that's a lot.
So it's good.
Go on a small
So it's-
garment.
It is,
It's
and if
okay.
you do forget, if you really want to be technical, you could measure the outside 20 inches to find your middle, and then you'll know that you're okay.
Or you can just fold it in half. and
Well,
put
you
it
could,
in.
and do this,
Yeah.
yeah, and that would work as well. So either way, thank you, Michael, that works. Okay.
Helpful tips from our sewing circle.
Sewing
Circle.
circle, and it helps to sew in a circle. You get a
It
lot of
does.
help.
No, it
Yes,
does.
It's good.
It- absolutely.
Okay, Judy, we are back.
Okay, well, we have got the lace now somewhat gathered, but we realize that you probably need to understand how and where to start. So there's two schools, making sure you have the right way going. You're going to whip stitch this edge onto the edge of the netting. So if you find the center, you know that both sides are going to be equal. So my way of doing it is I thought once I got to this point, I know and I can now work, and I will then turn it and finish here and I'll be okay. Denise, on the other hand, works differently. She wanted it laid out and completely gathered all the way around. So both ways will work, not a problem, whatever you're comfortable with. So the object obviously is to make them even. So if you're comfortable doing it my way, Angela's doing it the way I do it, Denise likes to do hers out flat. So either way is extremely effective and you'll be successful. So just so you know.
So the next step, though,
We're going to start to whip stitch.
this
Yes,
to the
so
edge. And there's no fold on the edge.
no,
It's just
there's no
right
fold.
through.
It's just a raw edge onto the lace as you go along, and you're just going to whip stitch it. And it
Now,
doesn't
what size stitches do you think you're going to take for them?
small. They're going to be
Small.
bits,
Okay, so
just
they'll
bits.
just blend in.
They totally will blend. You won't see it at all. So no, and it's just a constant this way. And do knot it once in a while, just so you don't end up gathering it more to secure it. Yeah.
So you're gonna
And
do
then
that next?
we would do right side
Right
to
sides
right
to right sides.
side.
Yeah, because you're
Okay,
this.
because it's gonna flip
And
back.
then
And they're gonna
whip
flip
that,
it.
and
Yeah.
then it would flip.
Yeah, and I can tell you, if you make a mistake and you think you did it wrong, not to worry. Correct it, because when you put the last piece, which will be either a braid or a velvet ribbon, it's going to cover whether it's the right or wrong side. So you don't panic, don't take it out, you'll be fine. So just so you
Yeah,
know.
you can pick it up
You
later
can
on.
pick it up later on. You'll cover it later on, so you'll be good. And I know those things happen. It's okay.
Oh, not here,
Well, you know how
not
it is.
us.
We all get busy with our sewing circle and we get talking, and then we make mistakes.
All right, we
Okay.
will do this and we will come back.
All right. when you turn your corner, I just forgot to tell you, and I'm sorry, but make sure that you leave a good amount of your gathering at the end here. So, because if you make it too shallow, it's going to cup like this. So if you bring your massive, more gatherings here, it's going to lay flat. So be sure that you bring a good portion of your gathers to this to make the curve. And then you can again lessen it out on the outside, bringing this part in at the end. And again, you need a little bit more here, but this won't matter. So just make sure you have excess gathers here to make your corner.
So if it's cupping,
Then you know you don't have enough.
You've got to take it out.
You've got to
and
take it
fix
out and put more gathers, bring more gathers to this so it'll turn the corner and lay flat.
All right.
Okay?
We'll be back.
When you get to the end of your lace, when you're gathering it, finish your gathers, and then when you get to the raw edge of your lace, go ahead and just take a quick little run seam through a running seam and just gather that up and then bring it down to the corner of where you left off with your gathers. And that will make a nice little curve. So when you put it all together, it'll be a nice little round curve. And that's the way the antique looks. So it kind of works like that. And when you steam it, it's going to steam out pretty flat. So only when you get to this step would you do that, and then you start on the other side. So that's as far as this one goes. So one more little tip.
All right, that's important too.
Yeah, important, because this is going to come around and all
It really
come.
can't go any other way,
Well,
can it?
sometimes, I think people would, without knowing that, would probably try to attach it straight on
yeah,
this
that-
way, and
yeah,
that's
that-
not right. You need to gather it and bring it all to the corner, so it all comes into here.
All right. So
Okay.
we'll finish it up and we'll be back for the next
Alrighty.
step.
Okay, we're back. We have now accomplished the lace put on the outside edge of our netting. The girls have done a beautiful job. And so we've rounded the corners, and so we have a nice little end spiral, I guess you want to call it here. So now we're going to get out our package number 1.
Okay.
Package number one.
Package number
And
one.
you've pressed those after you've.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
Everybody missed it.
This has been steamed, pressed down, yes, because these were a little roughlier. And you notice that some of us are a little bit roughlier and some of them are flatter. It makes no difference. Just so you kind of have it a little bit flatter, it's kind of the way they lay. But as you keep working with it, it will automatically lay down and get a little bit more floaty, I guess is the word. So, but it's supposed to look like this. Don't think it's perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't worry about that. Okay, get your number 1 out, and we're going to do the same thing that we did with the big one.
So it's packet 1.
It's packet 1, just the packet 1. You don't need anything more. And you're going to, again, find the string at the end, and then check out the right and the wrong side of the lace. And then we're going to gather this up to fit the curve in here. Now, some may be short, some may be long, it doesn't matter. Mine, I found out when I'm doing it, is about 1 inch longer than what, say, Denise's or Angela's is going to be. Doesn't matter. My lace will just be a little less fluffy, so not to worry about that either. So that's our next step. So find the little string at the end, and we're going to do exactly the same thing we did to this as we did to the outside. So, and then it'll be applied to this area. Same technique on the edge. Okay?
So you're going to use your little. Now, what are you using your spudger for?
I'm gonna pull out the thread because it's quite tiny.
And you can use a needle too.
Yeah,
You want a needle?
but I didn't want to rip it up. That's
Oh.
why I'm gonna use the tip of the
okay.
spudger.
But that does work. If you just take a needle and go to that very top, I don't know if you can see that or not, and you can pull out that little bit of fray, I guess fray would work, until you find the strings, and then it's easier to go back in and find the one that pulls. The tweezers are great. I have fingernails. They might be good for something. And then you'll find your cord, and it should pull out. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then just pull. And it should wind fairly easy. If you haven't got an easy one, you haven't got the right cord, which I did not. So it'll be a little bit heavier. I think the thread is actually heavier.
I think
Now,
it is.
Judy,
It's-
do you think that you should fold it in half to find the center?
You could, yes, you could.
You could
Yeah.
put a little pin in it.
You
so-
could very easily. This should be, I think this is 13 inches. So this is, 1/4" lace, package number 1, and it is 12 inches. So it says in our directions, which if you were more precise, which I was not, it should gather to 8 inches, and that should fit the neckline. But if it doesn't, just adjust it. So, but yeah,
You're
find
adjusting it to the neckline.
to the neckline, right?
Whatever that may
whatever the measurement will be. But yes, go ahead and mark your center line. And actually,
Denise is already ruffling.
yes, she can ruffle.
yeah.
You're supposed to
No,
ruffle
I mean,
it.
she's already on it.
She's way ahead of me. Don't laugh. I mean, we know that. This is the pro.
No,
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm not talking, that's
Oh,
concentration.
okay. See, I get in trouble for talking again.
No, you're the teacher, you're the instructor.
All right, so
Doesn't matter where they put you in the class.
I know, I'm
you'll be
always in
talking.
trouble. I'm always a troublemaker. It's okay. Okay, so we are get to this, and we're gonna get this gathered up, and then we're going to apply it to the neck, and then we'll be back. Okay, we've now completed putting on the gathered lace around the neck. Everybody's done theirs. They look great. So now we are going to move to the next one, and we're going to move on to package number 1. Or, I'm sorry, number 2, which I just had in my little hand and I've lost it. Find number 2. It's in your thing. See what I did? I dumped them all out, and now they're not
You
here.
broke the rule.
I broke my own rule.
But
There it is.
your
It's over here.
students got it.
I know, they're much
They're-
better students than I am a teacher. Hello. Oops. Okay. Anyway, so get number 2, which is this, and it's the next one, and it goes right below, but there is a net space below, and you will see that in your diagram when you get it. And it'll show you that you're gonna drop it down to here. So you're gonna put that on just by itself, and then we go back, we're gonna put the next one on, we're gonna put ribbon over the top of that. So we're gonna lay this all the way up, kind of put it up to the top of this, which is gonna be covered, remember, by the braid or the velvet, whatever you get in your kit, which I think you're getting braid. And it'll cover up the ends of this particular lace that's here, as well as all of them. So we're gonna do number 2, which is right here. So get your 2 out, lay it out flat. You might want to iron it. And if you can curve it a little bit with your iron, you know how you can stretch it out a little bit, it'll help lay it a little bit easier.
So is this gonna lay flat or is this
It's going to lay flat.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's no ruffling involved.
There's no
with
ruffling in this one.
Okay.
I don't think so anyway.
Yeah.
No, I lied, it is gathered.
Oh, it is
I'm sorry,
gathered.
you're right,
Okay.
Michael, it is.
little
He's
bit.
read the directions, I don't. Yes, you're gonna gather it.
Well, they're your directions.
Helps if I read them. So yes, so you're gonna gather them, and they're gonna be gathered to a certain length. Let me see here. We're gonna gather them to 6 inches.
Okay.
So again, pull more threads and just gather the top and lay it out. And you're gonna have to kind of put it in the middle here, lay it out flat, and find your equal sides on both sides so that when it comes up, you're gonna end up at the same spot on both sides, so it becomes, so it's even.
And there will be a diagram that they could.
There will be a
They could
diagram.
actually cut that piece out and lay it on the lace to get the right, the pattern piece, I mean.
Well, the thing is, you're gonna have to put it on your finished piece after you get this on, because all your necklines are gonna be different.
Right.
So my suggestion would be gather it up, find the middle again, and then equal side, and you're gonna bring it up to approximately, because it doesn't have to be exact, but you're gonna have to bring it up to the top.
Okay.
And remembering that there's another one that goes down below it. So it's pretty, you just have to kind of, yeah. Or, you know, the best thing I think I would suggest is if you took your net and use your pen, you could actually lay your net and make these marks
Oh, you
on
could.
the net before you even start. And that would give you a guideline as to where your laces will lay. So
That's a good idea.
I think that would work.
I mean, if they're not.
If you're not good at guessing or just by eyeing
Feeling
it.
it,
If you don't feel comfortable just by eyeing it, which would work very well. So, because you're gonna get a plain diagram like this, which tells you without the outside edge, that's gonna show exactly where those laces go,
Okay.
okay? It's pretty easy, actually. This is not difficult. It's just kind of playing with it a little bit. And don't forget, you don't have to be perfect. Don't try to make it perfect. Most antiques are not perfect.
Well, we're gonna make it perfect.
Okay, Michael, I will give you one to make perfect.
We're
Anyway.
gonna make it perfect.
Okay, so we're gonna pull another thread, we're gonna gather up slightly again, and we're gonna curve it.
Same concept.
Same concept. The same concept will be repeated all the way through this.
Is
So,
it going to be gathered more in the center? Is that what?
just enough to make the curve.
Okay.
That's all, and then gathered equally, but it will lay flat. I mean, I can almost get this to lay flat just by doing that.
Placing it.
So it's,
Okay.
you can see it's not gonna be much gathers, it's just enough to
And
lay it flat.
Angela's already gone and pinned hers.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna
Yes.
pull it and gather it.
Which would work
Are you
perfectly.
gonna gather it
She's
to
gonna
the
just
piece?
pull the.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Okay.
pull the
Perfect
thread.
idea, great idea.
Pull the thread in
Pull the thread
the
after-
lace.
Yeah.
And then,
It's already pinned,
pinned
so
it
just,
on.
right.
Yeah.
and just
So
pull
you
that.
Yeah.
pinned it in the center,
Uh-huh.
That's a good
and
idea.
can you hold it up for me?
Yeah, if that works for you, perfect, do it.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
It's
that's
a great idea, yeah. Yeah, this is when the pseudo teacher learns from her students. I love it.
Okay. Well, we'll get
It's what
this
we
done.
call a
and we'll-
sewing circle,
We
Michael.
always
right,
learn.
that's
we
right.
Always learn.
We
something.
learn with our friends.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you back in a little bit. I was going to show you, we found out this actually, because everybody's a little different as to how they gather, it makes it come out a little bit different measurement. So it won't matter. Lay your pattern, lay your fichu on top of the pattern that you'll be getting, which has the actual lines in where the placement of the laces will go. So you can then lay the lace on so you get a proximity as to where it's supposed to stop and start, and then adjust your lace to where it's supposed to go. If you're too short, like this is going to be a narrower one, you don't have to use all the lace. If you don't want to, you can stretch it out and just cut it off. Or gather it up tighter and then press it down, and it's going to be the same. It'll just be a little fluffier look, which is fine. So that'll give you an exact place of where to put it. And then your ribbon goes over the top of here and over the next one. So you're ready. It works. It's
So
fine.
that's very helpful to have.
Very
that
helpful to have this. So yeah.
Transparent fabric.
Yeah,
that
and you can use your Fix-On pen and actually draw the lines in if you want to. So then you are ready to go for the next one.
Okay, we'll get that
Okay.
on and we'll be back.
Okay. Okay, we're ready now to put in the second row. We've now finished the one that goes underneath the necklace, and now we're going to drop down and we're going to put in a row of insertion lace. So check with your diagram. The diagram will tell you it is right here, and it's called flat lace. And it's right there. This is the ruffled lace that you just put on, and this is now the flat lace. So we're going to actually sew both sides. So we're going to do a small running stitch on the top and on the bottom. Okay, we'll be back
Okay.
when it's done. Okay,
So we're sewing right under
gonna
the edge of
just, you're gonna bring it up, and again, the right size, make sure we get the right size. We have to keep probably telling people that. We need to make sure we get, are we still on? We get the right sides
We
up.
got right sides.
Right sides
Okay.
up, yeah, so.
And you can feel there's texture.
Definitely texture, yeah, definitely. And then you're just gonna kind of work and ease it around. So when you sew, are we still on yet? We have a sewing on the top, you're gonna be able to ease that in. The bottom will be more stretched, the top will be more eased in. It may be, depending upon how you did, like mine is a little bit long. You can either bring it all the way up to here if you want to, up to the edge here, which I think is what I'm going to do. And then kind of just work it around. And it'll go in like that.
Is there space between?
There is space. You can actually, because if this goes here and you have it here and you can bring it around and get it to lay flat, if you have to overlap them up here, it isn't going to matter because you're going to put a gathered piece of the double side of this down this row, which will cover all of this. And then the ribbons also will cover the edges. So it's kind of a mistake, or however you want to say it, it's not going to be a problem. And they'll all be a little different. Don't worry about that. It's fine. It's kind of fun.
It's kind of the beauty of it, right?
It is the beauty of it. It makes it your own. So don't think it has to be exactly as this. This is more of a guide than it is an exact positioning. So,
All right, so
Okay.
we'll be back.
okay. Okay, we have found that maybe this would help you do it. Instead of trying to curve the ribbon, to take maybe about 1/2 of an inch and run it through the one side of the middle and to the other, and then just make a little bit of a knot through there. It sounds kind of silly, but
header, you're gonna
at the header, right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you lay it down, it's going to curve. So I just took about 5 little tiny stitches, and I brought my thread through, and then I pulled it up tight, and it just kind of makes a little bit of a curve right there. And you can play with that a little bit, but just kind of starts it and then knot it off. And when you lay it down, it actually, and just, you don't have to knot it a lot, but just enough to give it a little bit of a curve. Whoops. And then I'm going to take the needle out. And then when you lay it down, it literally will just kind of form for you without actually gathering the lace.
Yeah, I think that works.
It does work, yeah, it does. And then you just go through and you can tack it down then. And you want to tack it down on both sides. So it doesn't have to be a V. You can actually kind of stretch it out a little bit.
It's got a nice little curve.
It's got a nice little curve that just runs
Oh,
around.
that's nice,
So,
yeah.
yeah. And that actually lays very flat.
Okay,
Okay,
so now we will
apply.
apply.
Okay, we're back. We now have applied the insertion lace right below our original one here, so we're on number 3, and now we're going to go to number 4. And that also is a regular lace, but we're going to gather the top, and it's going to fit below. And it depends on where you put things on. It can go anywhere on there. Not to worry, you can, if you didn't put your insertion lace, like I did, not low enough, you can skip it down and it actually can fit and just work itself around. You can work it this way and go across, just so you leave enough room to put some ribbon on both of these. So you can bring it down here and then across and then bring it back up here again. And if it overlaps your ribbon here, not to worry. So it's going to end up on this side over here. And it will be gathered. So you're going to, very slightly gathered, it's not going to be a lot. So it'll kind of look like that.
So Denise is kind of
Well,
got hers
I'm
prepared.
sure,
got it,
well, no, I'm
yes.
trying to do it because of the way mine turned out. I gathered a little bit higher here. It probably should have ended here on these, but it didn't.
It
So I'm
doesn't
just
matter.
adapting as I go
Right,
along.
right.
And I'm thinking that, I'm trying to place it and thinking where it'll look the best.
Yes,
with
because
these
there is going to be a filler in each one of here. You're going to have a double edged,
And how are you
double
doing,
lace.
Angela?
In
You're-
this open,
In
in
this
this
rounded,
rounded,
right, it'll be up in the
Pinning yours in
rounded
place?
place.
I'm pinning mine in place, and then I'm gonna gather. So I've divided it into coordinates. So I have where I want it to end, and then midway there, and then at the end. So then I'm just gonna
Okay,
gather
You're just
it.
gonna pull your thread?
Yeah, pull my threads, and then I'm just gonna sew it on.
Could you turn that the other way so we can just
Sure.
see what you're doing?
So I'm leaving enough of the net there, and then a nice
Perfect.
area there.
All right, well,
Okay.
we'll get this finished.
Get
and
this
we'll
part done and we'll
back for
get
the
back
next
for number
stage.
5. But this is number 4. So number 4 going on. Okay. Okay, now we're ready for the lower flounce. This is the piece that goes in on top of the V that when it comes down here. And this is a piece that you can gather or you can pleat. And it's just a matter, you probably want to turn the edges under just enough. You probably can just iron them under, or you can take a little running stitch on them, whatever you choose to do. But it's going to be gathered or pleated or whatever, and it's going to fit right here. So you're going to fit it right to this little spot right here. And it can sit right underneath this gathered lace. And it's going to have a ribbon on the top of it. So it'll kind of look like that.
So you're going to gather it.
You can gather it, or if you like to pleat it, it just depends.
Okay.
There are some I've seen that were pleated, and they're just a matter of doing a small little pleat that is along the edge here.
So what do you think you're gonna do, Denise?
I think I like the pleat.
I like the pleat, actually.
I like the pleat as well. Okay, I think we're gonna
Okay,
pleat
so-
I
them.
like the pleat.
Everybody's gonna
Yes.
do a pleat.
Yeah, so we're gonna pleat them.
Okay,
And it's
so-
just gonna be a finger pleat. You don't have to measure, just
So this is bag number 5?
bag number
So
5.
we're gonna pleat the 5th.
We're gonna pleat the 5th, yes. And that just goes on with I probably would take the pleat and I would do a slip stitch over the top to hold the pleats into their shape, and then I would probably do a running stitch to put them on.
Okay.
So 2 different applications. So pleat first and then apply,
All right.
okay?
And what do you think the size of the pleats should be?
About 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches.
All right.
I think there is a measurement on here, excuse me, I have to get down to get my thing. It says here, it is a 1.5 by 3, so it's 3 inches.
Okay, 3 inches.
So you're gonna put,
Okay.
yeah, so 1.5 on each side.
Okay.
All
Okay?
right. Now, Angela's already doing hers.
Oh, yes, Angela, yes. Angela?
Oh,
She's the
Angela.
master. She's a good
All
one.
right.
And don't forget to, again, look for your wrong and rights.
Right.
Okay, we'll do that and we'll be back.
Okay, we're ready now. We've now ready for the next step. We've got our flounce on, our laces on. We're kind of pressing as we go. So now we're going to apply the lace onto the front lapels. So this is kind of what covers up the ends, all of the open ends that are left here. And you'll do this before you put your ribbon on. So now we're going to take our 2 6-inch pieces of lace. That is packet, what did we say that was, number 10?
It'll be 8.
8.
When they get there.
There'll be 8 when you get it, but I think this is
Yeah,
10,
ours.
doesn't matter what mine is. So you're gonna
It'll be
take,
8.
it'll be 8, okay, it's gonna be 8. So you take the 6 piece and you're going to end right sides together, so find your right sides, again, it's important. Put the right sides together, and then you're going to whip stitch the end of this, so it's closed, and then you're going to take a running stitch and run all the way around the circle, and you're going to gather this, and then when you're gathered, you're going to put it down and connect it together this way, and then you're going to open face it so it lays open, and the ends are finished. You're going to close the, the end is already finished, so you're going to open it and lay it down, a little bit of ironing, and then attach it down the middle.
Okay.
Okay.
Denise has hers already pinned in place.
She's got hers pinned in place.
She's ready, you're ready to sew them down, aren't
I
you?
am.
Ready to sew them
Yes.
down, yes.
And
Angela?
Angela's already got one
Got one
down.
down.
Okay, and you're gonna sew the other one.
And you'll notice that they're different sizes, so this is when you have to realize that
Yeah.
everybody does something different. Don't worry about it. They're all gonna be correct. You can play with it, make yours more roughly, less roughly. Hers is smaller here.
Well, I had a longer
Denise's-
area to fill.
She had a longer area because her lace was positioned differently.
This-
And mine
this
again was even bigger because we just realized that the backing on mine was a different size. But as you can see,
It works.
It
the
does,
same measurement that they used works on mine. So play with it. There is no right and wrong. You get to kind of design as you go, and you'll end up with the same product. So have fun with it. So, okay,
Okay, we'll be back.
back for the next session when we get this done. This is the final step of doing your lapel decoration. After you have done the circle and you've done your running stitch to gather it, you're then going to gather it, and so it comes together and measures out to fit the space that you need, and everybody's is going to be different. So lay it out and then figure out what you and where you want to put it, and so it will eventually look like this. And then you will whip stitch them together inside before you put it on here, and then pin it down, and then you're just going to tack it down because there'll be another ribbon that goes through here with some bows. So that's what you do with this. And make sure that your seam and everything and your right sides are the one that comes out. So again, just check your lace. So I think that's about it. So we'll get that one applied onto here, and then we'll be back, and then we'll follow with the next steps with is putting on some ribbon. Okay, we now have our lapel trims on, and we're going to take the next step, which is to put on our ribbon. Our ribbon goes in a few places, so I'll just show you where they're going, and then we can start in, and then we'll get back and see, get them done. They're gonna go only on the inside, not on the outside, because that's where the braid's gonna go. So you start under here, and it's gonna go on the top of the bottom lace, all across the top, and it's done with a small, I guess not a running stitch, it would be what do they call that stitch, Michael? Over, up, down, just a small, regular,
Yeah.
like a hem stitch, I guess. Just,
Would you
what do you
create
call
a
it?
hem stitch, isn't it? Or running, it's
Is it a
Well,
is
it's
it a
not
running
running
stitch?
through it, it's you're
It's a
catching
pick.
each.
It's a, you're catching
Running
it.
combo stitch.
It's
where
pick.
you take one small stitch
And
and
then
then
move.
Under, and then
under a
another
big
little,
stitch and then
Right,
up a
right,
tiny stitch.
right. Okay,
We're
that's
doing the combo.
the combo
I
stitch.
like
Yes, which is just catch.
We're
And you're
doing
gonna
the running
we're
combo.
gonna run and we're gonna do a combo. Okay, then we're gonna take and do one side, and then we're gonna go at the opposite side, but we're going to put the stitch here and then go in the middle of the one on the opposite side. So they go every other one. So you're gonna do it diagonally across. So that way you really secure the ribbon down. And that'll happen all the way around to this side. And then you're gonna take it up on the next step and you're going to put it on both sides of the insertion lace. So you're going to attach it to the bottom side of the insertion lace, and then you're going to also attach one to the top side of the insertion lace. So it'll be up and down. So here, here, here. And then you move up to the very tip top, and it goes on top of the ruffled one. And then that's all that does the flat work. And then you'll be making 4 or whatever you like, probably 4 bows, one at the bottom of here and one here. And they're just the tiny little bows.
We'll come back to that.
But we'll come back and do
'cause
the
we've got a
bows.
lot of work to do.
We have a lot of work, so.
So Denise, you're doing yours in white.
Yes, I'm
and
doing
then-
mine in white.
And then Angela's gonna be rogue and she's gonna do hers in
black,
black and white. So
And
that'll
feel
be-
free to pick a color. You can, and then don't forget, this can be done all in white, and you possibly could dye these if you wanted a specific color, but that's up to the individual when they get it all done, so. But
All right.
the black is nice. Oh,
We'll
and don't
be back.
forget, Michael, we have a guest.
Oh, yes, we do.
Oh, Daisy.
There's Daisy.
Daisy
Hi,
is
Daisy.
here.
Say
Daisy's
hi.
here.
Yes,
She missed her mommy.
she did, so
Say hi, Daisy.
we had to
Say
come.
hi.
Hi.
Daisy.
Hi.
Hi. Okay.
All
All
right.
righty.
Okay. All right, good
We'll see
girl.
you later.
Good girl.
Okay, we're back again. We now have finished the ribbon overlay on the layers of lace. And so the time is now to put your braid on. So the braid has there are 2 different sides, and you're actually able to do either one you want. It makes no difference. So pick the one you like. One's a little more dull. Maybe consider the back side, but definitely not the wrong side. And this is a shinier one. So pick the choose you want, and it goes around right where your wide ribbon attached to the background. And it'll start here, and it goes all the way around and finishes up here. You might have to pick up part of your lace to put it underneath, and it's going to hide all of that, the edging that you did. So it hides the ends of the lace, and it'll hide the ends of the ribbons. So, and then when that's done, then it's time to put on your bows. So you can, again, use your own discretion as to what kind of bows you want to do. The larger 1/4-inch bow, which is here somewhere, I just had it here. This one is made to go over the flounce. So on the antique one, it was a 4-loop bow, which means there's 4 loops on each side, and you just basically make the 4 loops, make the center, tie it.
And we have lots of videos that show how to do
And lots,
that.
yes, there are. And anyway, so the bow goes here. Then the smaller 1/8-inch ribbon is made with a 2-loop, and there's usually one here at the top and one at the bottom, or you can put one in the middle. Again, it's up to you as to how you want to decorate it. So, and after that is done, you can then lay it out flat and then lightly steam press, and you're ready to put it on your doll. Done.
And so Denise has got her bows done.
Denise is
putting them
Oh, she's
on
applying her
Yes.
bows.
where,
And you did yours all in white.
just to cover the ends. Putting those on.
Looks beautiful.
And
then
she still is going to put her braid on
I
at
will,
a
yes.
later date.
Yeah.
And Angela, you can see Angela's beautiful with her
Angela
black.
is a rebel.
Yes,
She
and it's
did hers
gorgeous.
she did hers in black, which I
Black.
think is
It's
stunning.
gorgeous.
Yes, it is
Stunning.
gorgeous. It's
But
very
you still
nice.
have your trim to do too.
Yeah, the
So
braid,
you're gonna
yeah.
do that now, and then we will be back at tomorrow and show you all of the
Right.
finished product.
Exactly, then you'll get to see
All right.
everybody. So, okay, thank you very much. It was fun. Hope you're making progress.
All right.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. Hi, we're back again, and you notice we're all in different attire because it's a new day here.
day.
It's a new day. So here we are again, and we're ready to do some of the final things. You're going to get out your packet that have the braid in it, and you will notice you could use either side, and this will be up to you as to which one you want. So one is kind of shiny and one's a little dull, so whatever you want, and then you can put it on in any factor that you want, but it will go between the seam that you attach the 1.5-inch lace to the netting background, and it just lays over that seam, so it kind of hides the evil. So you just bring it all the way around and do your thing. We were just talking, there's ways of adding and embellishing. This is when you can use your imagination. We were talking about doing loops. In fact, here, I think you can have, Denise will show you what she's come up
I
with.
think these are little 2-inch pieces of the ribbon that we used for this trim and the bow.
That are left over.
And, you know, kind of press it down, but then we'll put these little tabs like this.
Yeah, before
here
you put
and
the
there,
braid on.
depending, I'm not sure how. And then put the trim over that to hide
It just gives
where
more
you
texture,
attach
It
more-
gives more texture.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah, yeah.
just
And
here and
these
there.
were made because they were covered for what they had the era called the pigeon
pigeon breast.
breasts, I guess is what the word would use. And so the more fluff you had, the happier they were. So you would add all this extra little stuff. You could embellish it with pearls, you could embellish it with sequins, whatever you want. They were lush, they were colorful, this is when you get
Yeah,
to
they
use.
dressed up a
They
simple dress.
They dressed up a simple dress, so, and yeah, so.
And so, Angela, you're
Angela
already,
did,
you're on yours, you're already sewing.
and
these
she
in.
did her bows differently, so this was her idea of how she wanted hers. And you could always change the color of the braid if you wanted to, or not use this braid and use a velvet ribbon, whatever. In the kit, you're gonna get the braid, but that's,
But it is nice to sew.
it's
a
nice,
very-
this is
it's a very-
perfect, it's
very
easy, as you
easy to
see,
sew.
it's, yeah, easy to maneuver, so be wild, have fun, and come up with something fun, or just do what we have here, it'll be
Okay,
great.
so we're gonna sew this on and we'll be back to
We'll
show
be
you.
back to show you the finished product.
Okay.
And then we're done. Hi, we're back again, and now we have the bow that we're going to be applying. I'm going to show you how this and how I do it. Doesn't mean you have to do it that way, but it's a simple way for me. In your kit, you're going to have a card that's white that has your 1/8-inch ribbon wrapped on it, and this is going to be your measuring tool. When you do your larger 1/4-inch ribbon on the back, you're going to wrap it the long way. So you're going to start, and you're going to use the tails at the bottom, and you're going to wrap it.
So that's about a 1-inch.
It's a 2-inch piece here. This
No,
is
but the tail is about
maybe 1.25 inches.
1.25 inches.
Yeah, but you can, that's up to you. And then you're going to wrap it, and you've got ribbon enough to do
what you need.
what
So
you
use
need.
all of it.
And you use all of it, except you're going to have a little tiny piece. So you want to maybe cut off a 1/2 inch or so.
Okay.
Maybe, is it 1/2
Maybe
inch?
it might be easier to do an inch, just maneuvering it.
Okay, 1 inch then. So maybe just take 1 inch, because we're going to need it for the middle, this part here, because it's made in 2 pieces.
Okay.
Okay? So when you get to this point, you're going to make sure that your tails are both hanging down. So both your tails are down
In the downward position.
in the downward position. And once I get this all together here, this is not behaving well. Don't do what I do, do what I say. Okay, so I'm going to put it up there, leave your tail, and then stack it as you go, so it will.
Right on top.
Right on top of the other. You are gonna cross on the bottom of the one, but not a lot. But stack it, and all the way through. And then hopefully it'll come out. I should have maybe checked. We might have to rearrange. And then if it does come out where it's odd, what I do is I kind of work the ribbon and I move it with my fingers until it's up.
So it's all in alignment?
So it's all in alignment. This is all together and your tails are hanging. And I think I shorted my ribbon here because I cut it off. So yours is going to be longer, so don't worry about that. So now you've got both your tails are hanging down on the bottom, and you've got a stacked ribbon here, and a stacked ribbon underneath. So then you're going to take your needle and thread, and you're going to go through the top stack. So in the middle, you're going to take your needle and join all of these stacked together in one. And they don't have to be exact, because it doesn't, a bow doesn't stack perfect. You kind of don't mind if it does a little to the left or a little to the right. Bring your needle through all of them, and then do it a couple times, knot it off. And I just go back in through here. I don't know if you can see that or not, and bring it back through again, and just bring your needle through.
Little running stitch and
Just
then
a,
you're tying
just a
it
little,
off.
yeah, and then just back in one more time and tie a little knot there. And then you've got this one secured. And then you're going to, I just do a little loop-de-loop up here to make sure it's still there. And then I cut it off and do the bottom half. So now you've got this going here. Now your tails can be loose, that's okay, because actually what's going to happen, these are going to be your tails. So we got it like this. Now you're going to stack these two and go through here again. To get my thread going here. So you're going to go through here, catching, you want to try to catch at least a piece of all of the ribbon, all the ribbons. So run it through. This one doesn't too far off. It's misbehaving. Just catch it. You'll know it's going to be there. And run it through. And catch it. I didn't knot my thread, so I'm going to knot it on the top. And then run it back down again. Come out the side. Catch your needle. Bring it through. And then back up one more time. Making sure you catch all of the stacked. And then you're going to take it off the card, and you're going to put your two pieces together that you've stacked, and you're going to sew them together in the middle. So then you end up with your loops are free. So you actually leave this on, take this off, and now you're going to take where you've sewn here and you've sewn here, and you're going to meet them in the middle. And this gives you a even bow, and it's stacked. Bring your needle back through all of them, and there's your tails. And it comes through here. And don't worry if they're not perfect, because it doesn't matter. Knot it a little bit, make sure they're together. And then you're going to have a little extra piece that you've cut off before you started doing all this. And you're going to use that for your middle of your ribbon. And it'll be in the center. Do we have another piece over there?
No, there is. And I think it's about an inch.
About an inch? Okay.
That'd be plenty.
It should be plenty, yeah. And then you're going to, you can either do it before you put it on, but I find it impossible to put it on afterwards. So I will tell you to cut your thread off here, and then put this on. Now this is a little bit tricky, but I just kind of fold it in half, and I don't have to have it where it belongs because I'm not going to attach it to the ribbon. I'm going to pinch these together, and then I'm going to sew across here. That's equal with the top of the ribbon, so it's basically the same size. It's, it's going to be it's going to hold all this together. And if I can keep that to stay down there. Okay, we'll start from this side. And then just do a little running stitch. Don't catch the ribbon underneath. This is going to be loose. Knot your thread before you begin. And then just sew it across. Whoops. Okay, I've got to knot my thread. This is not working. This is when you say, do as I say, not as I do. For heaven's sakes.
I always do everything you say, otherwise things just don't go right.
Don't go right.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to start again here. Uh-oh, where did it go? Do you see it? Oh, there it is. Okay, back on here again. Pinch it together and find the edge and bring your thread through the edge till you catch the whole thing without catching the bottom. Don't catch this part. You're just only going to do the little loopy. Normally this is not this difficult. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe 3 days of sewing until 1 in the morning. What do you think?
Could be.
Could be. No, I have to
Listen, a lot of people have problems with bows, so.
Well, this actually
I
works
know
out
you
to
don't-
be,
You don't have a problem with bows, but so.
well, this actually works out pretty easy. And if you made a bigger piece, I suppose, to work with here, it would be easier. But, you know, you just do with what you have. And this actually does work. You just have to be careful not to catch the bottom ribbon, because if you do, you can't turn it. And if I'd stack these a little bit neater. Okay. And then catch the sides. And knot it off. These major hand sewers next to me are probably going, oh my Lord. Yeah, they're very good, I'm
Well,
not.
they are pretty major hand sewers, both of them.
I know, I'm intimidated. Okay, so then you've got the sides on there, so then I cut that off, and then I will trim this just enough to where it hides behind. Move it, make sure it's in the center, and you can cut this off, and then you're going to just kind of whip it around so it's centered, and hold it in place, and then you're going to tack it on, minus all these little threads. So when you get done, you end up with this stacked bow ribbon that will just basically be applied. And then all I do is run it through the middle, and I just stick it on. So it's pretty simple. And you're gonna do your 1/8 inch ribbon exactly the same way.
But you'll use the card.
But this time, you're gonna use the card this way. You use the card the length way for the big ribbon,
one.
and you're gonna use the width of it for the small one. And you do exactly the same thing. I did not do what did I do, a 3 or a 4 wrap. I think I only did a 2 wrap, but you can do as many as you want. I think yours is more. And then you want to show them what you did on yours. She did Denise did when she did these, she folded it in half. So the ribbon was,
Oh,
yeah, look at, maybe you can see it on yours, which is another way of doing it. So don't feel that you have to do it the way I do it. You're more than, you know, this is something that's your project.
Right.
And these are things that you can be creative.
This is not about fit.
There's
This
no
is about-
fitting. This is called creativity. This is using your imagination and doing what, you know, how you see it. We have Angela over here,
Okay,
with the black, which is beautiful, and that was her choice. And she
and it
did,
came out great.
it came out beautiful. So, yeah, and it's very, very,
And Denise, let's,
well, she's doing hers, yeah.
well, let's show Denise's.
yeah, this.
Yeah, and then
might be
Denise's
right.
is-
This whole different-
Yeah, Denise's is done with she did the little tabs on here.
Okay, and let me show the
Okay.
back of
Yeah,
Angela's.
and then her bows in
Very
front,
très chic.
very chic.
I love that.
The front of her bows are also different. See how she stacked them?
Mm-hmm.
And then she poked them up, so they stood up.
Yeah, work turned out great.
And then on Denise's, she did hers and folded them in half. And so they look kind of like a shell.
Darling.
So they are,
Beautiful.
and that.
And I
see?
love the ripple effect of the ribbon.
The ribbon, and it does
And
that
it really-
naturally
it's
because,
just
right, it
very-
just
Right, we
gives it a.
didn't press
It's
it.
like a
We
little,
didn't press it, yeah. So it's, it does that just by putting it in. See, here's her little stack bow that she did.
that's great.
And then the tabs, which were just kind of a design that she thought
Right,
of.
you could make them shorter.
Make them
closer
shorter.
together, farther.
And if you wanted to, you could get really wild and you can put pearls, you could put sequins, maybe seed beads on all the way around. It would be gorgeous. And if you want to, you could actually put a closure up here and do a pearl with maybe
Loop.
a loop, which would be, so you can use your imagination. It's a fun project.
And I think it's a great project for someone who's building a trunk, just to have it as accessory.
Absolutely,
Yes.
an accessory,
In the trunk.
right, and
Because
they're,
we just had our club meeting today, and everybody has, that walking by has gone gaga over these. So I think, whether you have
yeah.
the-
It's a
the
fun thing to play
reproduction
with.
dolls or
Oh,
the antique dolls,
absolutely.
it all would
Either
work.
way. Yeah,
So-
and they look great in a French fashion as well, or a bébé. Bébés are beautiful. You can use these on a bébé too. So it just depends on the outfit, casual, not casual. Yeah,
Well, Judy,
So-
thank you so much. You did a great job.
you're more than
And thank you, Denise.
Oh, you're
who's-
welcome. Thank you. It was fun.
Who's
yes.
always game for a sewing project. And
It was fun,
thank you,
and-
Angela.
And these ladies to work with are fabulous, let me
Aren't
tell you.
they?
They were my support system,
We had
because
a
this
good
is
Aren't
new
they
to
a
me,
little-
as you know, so I loved them. It
That's
was
a great
great.
project.
They're a
It was
little
very
intimidating, aren't they?
They are extremely intimidating. But I'll take them on with a machine any day.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
There's a challenge.
There you have them.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm
sure.
learning, and it's patience,
For
and I've
sure.
enjoyed it. So, and this was all done by hand. And so it's doable, what I'm telling you. I'm not a expert hand sewer. It's doable, so you
Yeah, a
can do
lot of
it.
people could, and,
Don't be
and this is a
intimidated
kind of
by
a
it.
nice project if you don't want to have to, you
You-
can't really make
You
a mistake.
can't make a mistake,
No.
and that's the best thing about it. It'll be different. As you see, all of these are different, and we didn't bring the other ones over. They're totally different. Even the two that I made earlier
Right.
is different than
Here's one.
these. Yeah, they're totally
And
different.
we are going to
so
have this available in black, which is
you can have-
stunning, but we just didn't teach it.
Didn't
because
teach it. It's too hard to see.
too hard to see
So
with
you can
the
get it in
film.
black or in white, and if you really want to get wild, you can dip them in tea or coffee.
Now, you were talking about your technique for dyeing
Easter egg dyes, the little tablets that you get, that you buy for your children, I think they're called PAF?
Something like
Something
that.
like that. Something with a P, P-A-F-F, P-A-S-S,
PAA.
Yeah,
something like
Yeah.
that. They work beautiful, and you can mix your colors, smash the tablets, and you can add little crumbs to each one, and then you just set it, because it's gonna be a vinegar base, and you set it with your iron. Works like a charm. So, yeah, it's easy.
Okay, so they could get, if they wanted to do
This Easter's coming,
yeah,
yeah. where you-
green or
Green, it comes in
burgundy.
green, orange, blue,
beautiful
and,
pastel colors.
yeah, and they're
Beautiful.
wonderful.
Oh, yeah, that'd
and
be
then you
fun.
can mix.
Now, do you think that we could, okay, you've made the whole garment. Can you dip the whole garment
The
in
whole
there?
thing, yeah, that's how you would dye it, not individually. Just take the whole thing and put it in. And
Because
it's gonna come out different colors, which is why it's really, really unique. Because the dye will take different to the ribbon as it will to the lace.
Now, we will do a disclaimer that
Yes.
if you do this,
You're
it's
on your own.
You're on your
You're
own.
on your
You're
own.
on your
Yeah,
own.
you're on your own. And OxyClean does take out most of it, so.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I
Don't
guess you
ask how
know.
I know that.
All right. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Judy.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
We really
Enjoy.
appreciate it.
I'm anxious for people to try it, so please. All righty. We'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.